Hi, this is Eric, One Report Game Geek. I'm here with Clay Ross from Capstone Games looking at Ride the Rails, title number 2 in your Iron Rails series following Irish Gauge. Maybe give an overview. What's the idea behind the series?
The series
you start with Irish Gauge, you go on for some number of titles.
Yeah, there's a lot that we're considering, but they're like an hour to 2 hours in length of gameplay. The first two are only an hour, but it's rail network development in various regions around the world, like right when rail transportation was the best form of doing that kind of stuff. So
with fairly straightforward rules, at least at
very
much
much so.
To. It's
yeah,
minimalistic rules to get into the game.
Speaking of rules, yeah, this is only one sheet of paper. So
okay,
everything you need is on that sheet of paper, and then, man, I gotta just say I love Ian O'Toole. I love you, man. Thank you for doing the graphic design on this, because like once you read the rules, all the icons just are crystal clear, and you never need to read them again. I mean, it is one sheet of rules, but the iconography that he implemented in this game is genius.
Okay, so let's look at the board. We're looking at the United States.
Yep.
We are riding the rails from where to where? What are we doing?
Yeah.
What's our goal?
So right now we have it kind of set up in the mid game. This technically would be round 2.
Okay.
So we're playing over 6 game rounds, and each round is broken into 3 phases. Before I get to that, it is the United States, so we're building the railroads throughout the United States. This is an auctionless stock holding game, so there's no auctions. I think a lot of people are going to like that. And in addition to that, you're going to be building routes of your different companies that you own ownership of on the map. And then the thing you're going to do the most is ride the rails. That's when you're going to take these passengers in these cities around the world, or around the United States. You want to deliver them to as many cities as possible. They're looking
just to help have them tour the country.
Yeah, railroads are brand new. They're like, oh, I can go to all these cities now. So the more cities that you travel a passenger to, the more points you're going to get. But where the stock holding comes into play, they have to use a rail network. So if you own some of the orange share, or of the Orange Railroad, and I own some of the Orange Railroad, and I deliver this passenger to these cities down here, it's going to increase the share value of each railroad company that I've used for each link. So in this case, if I delivered this passenger from Kansas City, I can take him wherever I want. So if I went here, that would be 1 link of the orange, so we would move their stock value up 1. Okay. Then I'm going to switch it to the red, because let's say I have a whole bunch of red shares. Then I'm going to go here for 1 red, 2 red, 3 red, and they're going to stop there. So we've used 3 of the red links. Passenger goes out of the game. How many cities did the passenger visit? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So because I delivered the passenger, I'm going to get 5 points. And then we're going to look around the table. How many people have stock of red? Each red share you have is going to give you 3 points. Okay. Each orange share you have is going to give you 1 point. So that's pretty much the game in a nutshell of what you're doing.
And so we start with a few lines, and then additional lines will come into play as the game progresses?
Yeah, that's one of the cool things I love about this game. This is, again, mid-game. It will start with all the passengers out on the board.
People just standing
they're like,
forever
I'm ready to go.
I want something.
Pick me up.
Yes.
But so the first round, 2 railroads are available to be built, and it's the red and the blue. And they must start in one of these East Coast cities. And you're going to notice each city has a different color or combination of colors on it, and that's where the iconography comes into play, because this will tell you which railroads can start here.
Right.
Once a railroad has started, it must branch from basically anywhere it has track.
Okay.
So it gives you all the starting requirements. So in the first round, you got red and blue, which will be on here, and then in the second round, orange comes into play. Orange can also start in one of these 6 cities, and it can also start in Chicago. What's cool with Chicago is each time a new railroad enters Chicago, the player that builds there gets 2 points. So you got that little bonus to think about. Then in the third round, we introduce the Yellow Railroad.
Okay.
Yellow may also start.
Chicago.
Yep. There's also another thing where it can start in one of the 3 westernmost cities at the time of building.
Okay.
Okay.
Just going left to right.
So you got Kansas City, this one, St. Louis, and Nashville. It can also start in Chicago because it has a yellow marker there.
Okay.
So that's at the time of building. So it could happen where some other cities are connected and then yellow is introduced at that time, wherever the 3 westernmost cities are.
Okay.
Then we got the purple for the 4th round. That's your West Coast Railroad. So you can see you're kind of starting this this transcontinental railroad. And then the 5th round, you've got the black railroad that can start anywhere.
Okay.
There are some space requirements for each. Basically, you can think about it as each space here can hold 2 railroad tokens.
Okay.
There are some little rule breakers on these East Coast cities. Chicago can hold any amount of railroads, but for the most part, it's 2 per space.
Okay. How do we acquire the stock?
So that's how the game's played. So each round, we're going to do 3 phases. The
Okay.
first phase is take a stock. Whatever railroads are available at that time. So we're playing in the second round. You're going to choose between red, orange, or blue and orange.
Okay.
So as you build
And
the
I would
track,
just put that in front of me.
yeah, we've got these
That's
nice
it.
player mats to take care of all the math when you're doing the multiplication
Mm-hmm.
right there. So that's what this is going to be for. But you'll put your railroad on the leftmost space.
Okay. Because at most I can have 3 purple because it's introduced here.
Exactly.
And so on. Okay.
Yeah. So that's kind of what that does. You don't really need these, but yeah, that's what you're doing. You get your share, whatever you want. Phase B is you're going to build track depending on the number of players. Tells you how many you can build.
Okay. With the extra cost to go through mountains.
Yeah. So like in a 3-player game, you can build 8
That's right.
links.
This is the rule. That's
I'm
all it
telling you,
is.
Ian
It
is a
works.
genius.
It works wonderfully.
Yeah, so as soon as you hit a mountain, you just reduce that total number of tracks you can build by 1. So
Okay.
if you go through a bunch of mountains, you're just reducing your overall total by 1.
Okay.
Easy. Then phase C, we do ride the rails.
Passengers.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, this. Oh, there's also some other bonuses like little cities out here have these green banners with $5 on it.
Give you an
Points are-
incentive to connect to it.
Yeah. So the first player to do that gets 5. Transcontinental. So once a purple city is connected with one of these East Coast cities through a link of trains, if it happens in a city, the player that connects the 2 coasts gets 12 points. If it happens in any other hex, it's 8 points.
Okay.
So, and that's a one-shot deal, obviously. But
Okay.
yeah, it's cool.
So here's Ride the Rails. When's the released?
We're gonna have this at Origins. Fortunately, with the coronavirus, our factory is only delayed by 1 week. I feel really lucky for that. But yeah, it'll be at Origins and it'll release in July
And
1st.
then you
Yes.
also have an expansion.
Yeah, so this game is perfect for expansions. We've got
Because the rules are done in this one line.
yeah, and we
almost.
also implemented the same graphic here for each of the game boards. This is a double-sided game board with France and Germany, and different geography obviously, but different little rules tweaks for each map. Like for example, in Germany, the Orange Railroad starts in this mountainous area, tons of mountains, so it doesn't have any penalty for building in mountains.
Right.
So it's stuff like that. It's really fun to play and experiment with.
Okay.
So,
All right.
but that's the second in the Iron Rail series.
Thank you very much, Clay.
Yeah.
A review of Ride the Rails coming at Origins.
Absolutely. July 1st retail release.
There you go. Thank you.
Yep. Thanks, guys.